Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Just a few minutes late, got so much to cover. Got two tropical storms, got a football game called the Vols against Kent State, and I've got wind advisories. Got a little more on my plate as far as the weather presentation, so I wanted to give you a complete picture. First, the wind advisory. We have one of those in effect for the Smokies. That starts and begins at 4 o'clock today, and will run until 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you are traveling through the Smokies, power outages may be an issue when you've got wind gusts around 50 miles an hour. That did get shaved off 5 miles an hour. It was 55 yesterday afternoon, but the Weather Service has now changed their wording to gusts of 50. But either still, you're still going to have some pretty strong winds that could affect some trees, could affect power, so keep that in mind, and you may not even notice it. Hardly any wind in the valley. You go, what wind are you talking about? It's so localized, it's really pinpointed on the higher peaks of the Smokies. And you can see that illustrated here with gusts already closing in on 25, maybe 30, 32 miles an hour in some of the gusts that are estimated. Meanwhile, it's calm everywhere else, and I don't expect much more wind than maybe 5 to 10 plus later today. Visibility not an issue this morning. 10 miles is the max. So if you got a 10 near your town or county, probably no problems for fog this morning. Temperature's much warmer now. Didn't we drop to 57 yesterday morning? We did. We did hit 57, but now 64. It's getting warmer. And thanks to Francine, who's now weakening over land, we're now getting more clouds spilling in, and I expect a few showers to develop this afternoon, but not here in the morning. We have 63 in Oak Ridge, 68 currently in Morristown, but 10 degrees cooler in Middlesboro at 58 degrees. Kind of cool. Hey, I got a note from Fred. He's on here. He says he's got 63 in Maryville, waiting on some rain. I wouldn't hope for much. I mean, you can hope for all that you want, but I don't expect we'll get probably more than maybe a half inch over the next 3 or 4 days. It may not be all that much. Again, this is typically a dry time of the year, but certainly we'll be watching that. I know many folks are hoping and praying for a rainy outcome. 64 currently in Maryville, 59 in Madisonville here on a Thursday. It's the 12th of September. Hard to believe time has moved us this far. Now here's the bigger picture. You can clearly see that the clouds have already advanced across the Volunteer state. But where's this rain? Are you telling me that light rain shower near Atlanta, we got to wait for that? That's what I'm telling you. You have to wait. It's got to spin in here, and there's not going to be much. I left only a 30% chance of rain today. Not much more than that, and that occurs in the afternoon. But temperatures today could be in the mid to upper 70s if you're in the plateau, or low 80s. I have us at 81 in Knoxville, so I think temperatures will be varied quite a bit. A lot of it's going to be dependent or contingent on how much cloud cover you have, but it's going to be more humid than it's been the last couple of days, no doubt, as the swizzle stick known as Francine trying to move up into parts of the south and east. Dew points are in the 50s this morning, not the 40s that we had maybe 3 or 4 days ago in some cases. 56 isn't all that bad, but it will edge higher in the coming days, I assure you. And as far as what we can see in terms of the rain, let's go to the ultimate Doppler radar presented by your local Marco's Pizza. You can see there's just a dry scan. There's the brown shaded counties for the Smokies for the wind advisories, but nothing to see here. And if you do a review over the last 8 hours or so, we haven't seen much at all. But this will change. There'll be something to look at, I think, this afternoon. By the way, Marcos.com, great place if you're looking at making some lunch plans. Ooh, lunch sounds good. And maybe you are interested in delivery. They do that too. They're in Hardin Valley and Farragut. They're in Maryville, Fountain City, Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike and Ebenezer Road. They've got a magnificent pizza called the Magnifico for less than $10, and also a great lunch item that I prefer is the Pozzoli. My favorite's pictured at the top there, the pepperoni and sausage for less than $6. I think you'd be impressed if you haven't tried the new Pozzoli from Marcos. Okay, here's Francine. We're going to get to her specifics, but I just wanted to show you the radar returns. It is raining in Tennessee from Francine. It would be Memphis, but last I checked, Memphis is a pretty far cry from here. So it's going to take a while for this all to spin up from Atlanta and work its way into your neighborhood or mine. So don't expect a whole lot of rain. There might be a better chance. In fact, I suspect a better chance of rain tonight versus what we get during the day today. As it continues to spin, a little band or two will come into town, and some of us will be delighted, clapping our hands, going, yay, finally started to rain. I'm happy to see that. Got a note from Karen. She says, good morning, David. Bring on the rain. And oh yes, we'll try and do our best there. Marilyn Bell says, I love being outside, but yes, she admits, I want some rain. Our yard needs, did it get Marilyn in there? I thought I did. Yeah. She says, have a great day. So our yard needs the rain. Have a great day. And I got a note from Mary Flannery saying, good morning, David. Happy to have all of you on the call, on the live stream. Love to see your smiling faces. Thank you for putting that up there. Thank you, Mary. All right, so that's the radar picture. If you were to travel north, you're going to be fine. There's nothing to see here. Most of our states in the Great Lakes look quiet. But Francine, or what's left of her, because she is weakening, is pushing northward and spreading across Mississippi, Alabama at this hour. There's some real dry concerns out west. They've got some fire weather dangers, concerned about low relative humidity and high winds that could spread fires pretty quickly out toward the Rockies. I mentioned we had 0.03 of an inch of rain in September. You say, I can't believe it. It wasn't Sunday, but it was the Sunday before last Sunday. So like 2 Sundays ago, we received 0.03 at dinner time or supper time. Tropical storm Francine, here's the latest, down to 45. Wasn't this a 90? It was. So it's cut in half from where it was at its high peak as it approached southern Louisiana. And you can see the track it's taken. The little dash white line shows you exactly where this storm has been. It was near Morgan City, passing to the west of New Orleans, and now it's heading in through southern Mississippi. So the center of circulation is in the center of, we'll say south middle of Mississippi. It's working its way northeast, and it's moving 12 miles an hour. So that's where Francine is now. You can see by the time we hit 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it's a slow mover. Still got winds of 35 miles an hour around the center of that tropical depression. And there's Memphis. It's a low, remnant low. By 1 o'clock tomorrow morning, there's 30 miles an hour, and then the afternoon. This is pretty much it. There's no more cone to draw because this storm basically gets absorbed or dances in place. And that's going to be the case, I think, heading into the next 24 to 48 hours. Got a note on YouTube. Wanda Poe says, good morning, David. Go Vols. She says, hope for it's clear for the Vols game. I'm more optimistic. And I'll tell you why, Wanda, as I come back on camera. I want to see if I can come back on here. I'm more optimistic for this game because the trend keeps pushing this west. Somebody asked me why. We have a very strong area of high pressure. Very strong high pressure dome, and maybe I could just illustrate that with a little icon here. But with this big high pressure here, right, and the winds rotate around that high clockwise, it's going to push this storm potentially to the west. And so that may actually bode well for the Vols game as we head into the Saturday night time frame. Because this is, I believe, yes, it's a 7:45 game. 7:45 on Saturday, so I'm more hopeful that they'll get some of that in. And I'll update you, of course, later this afternoon, but I'll have at least the update for this morning as well. The tornado threat is not, it's not zero. There's still a chance for several tornadoes to spin up in the orange areas. That would include Dothan, Montgomery, Birmingham, if you have family there. Some of this, all again, compliments of Francine. As she moves northward, there could be some spin up on the tornado front. We have a new tropical depression, likely to get the name Gordon, or Gordo if you prefer. But no, it's going to be Gordon, and likely named later today. Tropical Depression number 7. I did read the note that they expect this depression to become Gordon later today. And you can see it's just spinning in the middle of the Atlantic and may just stay out there. Don't expect it to make it to land here, but it's something interesting to note if you're counting or keeping score. We have now moved up to the G letter, and I think we could have an H, which would be Helene. There's a new patch of yellow color that wasn't there this time yesterday morning. It came out yesterday evening with a 30% chance. And this is what I was saying, even if it's not named, if this isn't given the name Helene, it's still so highly disruptive. If you're headed to the beach, you're going to the Outer Banks, you're going to the Carolinas, you're going to say, man, all these clouds, I wish it wasn't so cloudy. It's going to be a vacation spoiler if you happen to be taking September off. Maybe you're a retiree and spending the time on, because all the water is warm, right? You've had all summer for the Atlantic Ocean to warm up. And it is usually a great time to be at the beach, but not when you have a disturbed weather system off the coast of the Carolinas. And that's going to be the case early next week. I'm talking Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. By the way, it's 6:52. You can see there's, what, 1, 2 other patches of yellow for a 10% chance. It's hardly worth mentioning. But Gordon, it will be forming more likely today and get its name over time. Hurricane season, now that we're on the 12th, one might think historically that we're on the downslide, but it's still a very active time of year. Historically speaking, hurricane season is in full swing. We've already seen Francine. She's still technically on the map. And we're about to add Gordon probably later today. That does leave Helene, Isaac, and Joyce on the on-deck circle. I want to come back on camera Just to give you an update, we hit 88 degrees yesterday, as expected. 88.57. The normal high and low is 84.63. And the record high today is 94, going back to 2019. It was only 5 years ago we hit the record high. It was also done or achieved, 94 was, in 1931. So it's a 2-year record high and a 45-degree record low from 1940. So if you like context, I like to provide that. I like to give you where we were and how things have been progressing. But as I get back to the tropics, the question is how much rain are we going to see? You can almost see distinctly two systems, right? There's a lot of rain off the coast of the Carolinas. So the question is, could that be? Might that be? Could that become Helene? And the answer is probably yes. But if it's not, if it's so elongated like a piece of saltwater taffy, if it's not concentric, the system doesn't have time over water to organize, it's still going to bring in the rain, but it may not be completely concentric or in a organized fashion. May not see this get its full name, but I think it's going to certainly be a flood maker, no doubt about that. Let me show you the future rainfall, because I know some of you are concerned about the rain today. Not a whole lot coming in from the south and west, but by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, this is projected. This is just about a 1/4 inch, Oak Ridge and Kingston, maybe a 1/4 inch for Tellico Plains, Madisonville, Athens, and about a 1/4 inch there in Crossville. So if you wake up 24 hours from now, tomorrow morning, you get a little bit of rain, say, yeah, I got something. It's not going to make any serious headlines, but you get something. That's what's projected at this time. Heading into 7 o'clock in the evening, Friday, maybe a little bit more. Then as we move into Saturday, of course, the game's at 7:45, right? And we've maybe already picked up a 1/2 inch. This one's maybe more aggressive. But you'll notice the coloring on the right side of this map shows the increase of rain from what could be a tropical feature pushing in from east to west. So you've got more wet weather going into Sunday and into Monday and into Tuesday the way it goes. It seems like it's one of those systems that we'll be watching into the next couple of days. But it's not going to, it's average, what, about a 1/2 inch or more? It's not going to, again, make any serious headlines, but it could make a dent in your expectation, at least because it's been so dry. And the new drought monitor will come out later today. By the way, Kent State taking on Tennessee. They're 0-2. We're 2-0. Big game, of course, we know, is on the SEC network. Many of us know. Kickoff is at 71 is what I expect, and upper 60s. But again, depending on how far west, if this storm continues to move westward, we will update this forecast. But generally 70s and 60s will be expected depending on if the rain is more aggressive. I have only a 40% chance that might be going downward. By the way, September high, we hit 88 yesterday, 86 the day before. But we did have 3 delightful days in the 70s. The weekend was just fantastic. Got a note from Lana here at 6:55. She says, good morning, everyone. Very hazy, she says, in Kodak. Or smoky. Can't see the Smokies. That's my next slide coming up. I've got to cover that here in a moment. But Wanda Poe has said, be sure or be so glad when the first frost kills the ragweed. Bring on the snow. She's on Team Snow. Very happy to have Wanda there on YouTube. Thank you, Wanda. Appreciate your support as we are going to continue on with today's forecast. We got a lot of clouds in place, but there will be some thin spots. You could probably detect there's a few thin spots there. So a little bit of hazy sun thrown in for good measure, but we'll call it clouds, hazy sun with PM, afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Sun comes up this morning at 7:17, and if you wait long enough, a few showers may develop, as you can see illustrated here. But the sun goes down now at 7:47. Boo! It's like around 7:45 now. What happened? What happened? Yeah, it's just what happens. It's what happens this time of year. By the way, the school bus stop forecast looks pretty smooth going into work. Coming home from school, anywhere from 2 to 3:30, there could be an increase of showers coming up from Athens or Tellico Plains, coming up from the south and west and spinning to the north and east. That's my expectation. Should be around 79 at 2 o'clock, but finish the day, at least in Knoxville, in the lower 80s. That's my expectation. Clouds, hazy sun with some afternoon showers developing. And as far as temperatures, about 80 in Newport. If you're just joining us, 80 for Morristown. Look for a high in Maryville, Alcoa at 80 degrees. Now, I said this yesterday on my video last night. I said Francine is like, well, I guess it's Houdini Francini, because all the smoke that might be detected there by Lana is going to blow north and west. Well, what am I talking about? Well, there's a benefit to having a hurricane or a decaying hurricane pushing that smoke out of the way. I mean, you can see the spin, follow the red arrows. It's like, yeah, it's going back away. It's like blowing on your cup of coffee. When your coffee is really hot, you're pushing all that away. And that's what's happening here is the smoke, wildfire smoke from all sorts of sources all over the country is now in yellow, pushing up toward Canada, toward Montreal, and back toward Omaha. So we have a blessing in that a lot of the atmosphere will be clearing out in a nice way thanks to the remnants of Francine. The humidity tracker is pretty low for now, but would suggest it's trying to come back very slowly on Friday. It's green again. That means the dew points are higher and the comfort level is down. So for high school football, it will be more humid, and there may be a few showers to dodge, maybe some rumbles of thunder as well. There's Saturday, still sticky, and by the time we get to the game, you might notice a decrease a little bit for the humidity as it wants to pull back just a hair. 70 right now in Nashville. We have 58 Johnson City, and it's 64 degrees currently in Knoxville. Darcy Soares on here. I want to say good morning to her. She says, have an amazing cooler day. Glad to see you here. And I see Dawn Rumsey. Good morning, David. Hope you have a very blessed day today. Thank you for all you do. My pleasure. And thank you for your support. I couldn't do it without you and my premium members and all of you who watch on a regular basis. It does mean a lot. By the way, with temperatures 70 in Nashville, Huntsville, mainly temperatures today should be, as I mentioned, upper 70s to low 80s today in our neck of the woods. Dew points where you see yellow on the map, that's very comfortable weather, but it's a little more humidity in the air for Tupelo and Birmingham at this hour. It is 6:59. I'm ran about 3 minutes late. So I'll be probably finishing 3 minutes late. But afternoon showers develop today. Francine weakens over land. We've already seen that develop. It's half the speed as it was when it peaked, 90 miles an hour. It's now down to 45 in southern Mississippi. Another tropical storm, maybe just tropical rains, develop next week. We'll be watching that come in from the east. So we have multiple or many rain chances, albeit small in some cases, but some rain chance all the same the next 7 days. Current speed of wind, no wind, 64 degrees. It seems like a paradox. How can you have no wind and yet you have wind advisories for the Smokies? Because they're the Smokies. When you're high up, you're going to feel the winds, and that's why wind advisories were placed for just them starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. 81 is my expectation today. Average high is 84. Clouds, hazy sun with some afternoon showers developing. Temperatures generally in the upper 70s for the plateau. And I still have a 40% chance. Now, interesting to note, yesterday I had us at 60 for Friday. I had to drop it down. Why did I do that? Because the storm keeps pushing west. It kept pushing west of Nashville, pushing west of Jackson, Tennessee, pushing west of Memphis. So is it possible this 60 for Saturday goes down a notch and maybe the 40 goes back to 20? I'll have to wait and see. I want to see another round of data. But again, when you're trying to travel or try to make a forecast that's dependent on a decaying tropical storm or hurricane, it can be more challenging. So it is literally, it's like the proverbial conversation. It's like tracking a marble on a dining room table. If you just start blowing on it, it'll go any which way it decides to go. Scattered severe storms are possible today, not just in the Gulf, but also where you might not expect it today. Some of the severe weather today will be up in Montana, perhaps into Wyoming or parts of the Dakotas. That's where scattered severe storms may persist today, according to the Storm Prediction Center, but they're focused on also the panhandle of Florida, well into parts of southern Mississippi and into parts of Alabama. Well, mainly Alabama, excuse me, not Mississippi. But the chance for scattered severe storms in yellow, isolated in dark green, maybe some thunder for Crossville, Jamestown today. Friday, that chance of rain continues for us. Thunder will be possible anywhere in East Tennessee, but there's still the possibility of isolated severe storms, maybe some isolated tornadoes from Dothan, Tallahassee, back toward Montgomery, and maybe just south of Nashville. Nashville will have to watch for severe weather on Friday as the energy continues to push westward. But Saturday at this stage in time, it looks like just some general thunderstorms are possible, maybe a few passing rain showers as the trend is pushing this further to the west. It is now 7:02. My goal is to be done here in about 3 minutes or less, but you can see that we've got the rain. It's spreading in. And what's the time frame? It looks like it's afternoon, right? As it moves west of Memphis, that low starts to dance in place. That's 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's scattered showers. It's not everywhere. And it's certainly not going to be what it's been advertised, what you've seen in the media for a hurricane. This is not a hurricane for us. This is a remnant storm that used to be a hurricane. And it's now just kind of dancing in place as a remnant low, parking itself really over Mississippi and Alabama heading into Saturday. So we've got a little pipeline of showers that are trying to come in from the east, and a new storm that might form off the coast of the Carolinas could push this right into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So for today, as we recap, clouds, hazy sun, afternoon showers, 81 degrees. Winds pick up 5 to 10 here in the valley with a plus, especially for the Smokies. 80 for Morristown and Talbot, White Pine, Russellville. I'm looking at Crossville, Fairfield, Glade, and also Lake Tansy at 74. That's the cool spot. And 78 for Oneida, Scott County for high temperature today. Notice it's much cooler in Memphis, only 69, 78 in Nashville, and 76 for those who might be traveling to Chattanooga. But for tonight, down to 64. Mostly cloudy, showers and storms. I'd say there's probably about a 60% chance of rain we get tonight, especially in the overnight, as this continues to march northeastward. Low temperature tonight in La Follette, 61. Low temperature in Sevierville, 61, and about 63 in Athens for your overnight low tonight. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast at 7:04. Watching the leftovers of Francine, we go up to 84. We're in the mid-80s tomorrow. I do think tomorrow is actually warmer than today. But then things start to cool back down into the low 80s for Saturday and Sunday. And then by Monday, Tuesday, we'll be keeping an eye on what could be at least a tropical rain feature. I won't necessarily call it Helene at this point because it may be premature, but there's the potential, and obviously the Hurricane Center is evaluating that with a 30% chance of development and getting a name there. But temperatures on Wednesday about 81. Overnight lows are no longer in the 50s. It's a little milder, more humid for sure, heading into next week. By the way, if you have a comment, I want to say good morning to you. Thank you for all these comments that have come in. I got Ed on here. I didn't see Ed's comment. He came in. He's stuck under the radar for me. Good morning. Great time getting some yard work done today. Thank you, Ed. Love it. And also love the fact that certainly there are some issues with the smoke. I think Juan has noted that there are bugs flying around that look like smoke. There could be wildfire smoke. But again, it's not all at the surface. Some of that is high aloft. Say put mainly up into the, we call it vertically integrated, but it's higher up in the atmosphere. I want to say thank you for your time. If you haven't picked up the free Captain Accurate Weather app, I hope you'll do so. You get all the National Weather Service alerts. So if you have lightning in your area or you're in the Smokies, you would have received a wind advisory on your phone without having to hunt for it. It would have just magically appeared because you're in that particular zone. You're in that particular area. You get 3 extra alerts from Barron, plus you get the lightning alerts, all the Weather Service alerts, and it's free, and you get Pete Michaels traffic as well, which makes it extra local. By the way, if you want some extra weather information, I recommend the premium service on Captain Accurate. Just hit the subscribe button at the top of my Facebook post page. We focus on weather that goes beyond the next 7 days. We're looking at 2 weeks in the future. We're looking at 30 days into the future, and you'll also be the first and only to see my winter weather outlook, which will be coming out in a matter of weeks. First to see every forecast, and you'll also get more Facebook Lives, typically on a Sunday, to help you plan for the week ahead, and you are receiving fewer ads if you are a premium member. So one thing's to benefit that. It's only $4.99 a month. That's 16 cents a day. It's for less than a price of a cup of coffee. An expensive cup of coffee, but most of them now cost, what, $5, $6, $7, $8, or even $12 with the tip. So think about that. This is $4.99 for the whole month, and it's, again, you can cancel at any time. But check us out. We'd love to have you sample us. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.